In this video, we are going to model a ring with a cabochon stone. We have learned how to model D-shaped band, so I'm going to use the same size ring as we've done in the previous video, so ring size M with a D shape that is 3 millimeters by 1.4, so exactly the same as previous exercise. The cabochon stone that I'm going to use is 8 millimeters. And then I'm going to model the bezel around it. Now, the bezel that we are going to model in this video is a bezel for production. So this file is a file that will be ready for 3D print and cast. It's not a file for render. So if I zoom in, you can see that the walls of the bezel are straight and are not set around the stone. I will make another video with a model for render purposes, so you can see the difference. To finalize the cabochon, we are going to create a line that goes from this end to the green line here. So we have the half of the profile. So again, I'm bringing the lines and I can use just a single line. Make sure that you have the end object snap on from here to the grid. And now I'm going to join these two curves by selecting them and using the puzzle here, join, okay? I'm going to create another bezel, and so I moved into a different layer, and in the same way that I've created just half of the cabochon, I'm also going to create just a profile of the bezel that I'm going to use to set the stone. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to use revolve, and revolve basically just rotates a shape around an axis. So I'm going to bring the polylines here, and I'm going to start 1 millimeter, inside, the edge of the stone, because I want to leave a hole in the middle to make it lighter, but also to use less material. So I'm starting 1 millimeter from the left and then going up. And here I have to decide what is going to be the thickness of the wall of the setting. I don't like the setting to be too chunky, so I'm going to do 0.6 6. And then I'm going to make it actually quite long because I want to use the ring size after, the blue line here, to trim the setting once it's finalized. So I'm going to do it like that. And so I've created the profile of the gemstone, and I've created the curve that I'm going to use to create the setting. Now I'm going to create the cabochon and the setting for the cabochon. I forgot to say something when I was editing the points of the cabochon. When you have a curve like this, it's really important when you're going to use the command revolve that we're going to use now, or when you mirror something, that these 2 points, they are aligned. So if they are not aligned, you can create a curve and imagine that this point was a little bit up, which probably my first curve was. If you're gonna revolve or mirror these, you can see that this curve is lower here than here. So when you revolve it, you're going to have a dip in the middle, and you don't want that. You want a nice smooth curve. So what you need to do is you need to select this point and you need to move it with intersection object snap here. So use the move, get the point there to intersect here with the curve. So now if I mirror this curve or I revolve this curve, which is what I'm about to do, the curve is going to be absolutely smooth. So I'm going to bring the surface creation menu, and I'm going to use revolve. So revolve sits here, and if I press the left button of the mouse, it will start the revolve command. So it's asking me on the command line to select the curves to revolve. I'm going to use first the cabochon curve and then press enter. Now it's asking me for the start of revolve axis. The revolve axis is going to be this mid line here. So you want to make sure that you have your end object snap on, and you're going to click here and here. And then if I move on to the perspective view, you can see that the shape is going to revolve around the axis, and that's why I left it as an open curve. I haven't actually joined that curve because it's going to revolve around the midpoint, so it's going to close itself. Now the start angle is 0, and I'm going to click on full circle. So if I shade it now, you can see that I've created a nice and smooth cabochon there. So I'm going to do the same for the setting. So I'm going to click revolve, select curves is my setting now, press enter. Now the revolve axis is still going to be the middle. It's not going to be here, because if I click here, it's going to revolve outside of the midpoint of my ring and setting. So I'm going to click on the start point here, anywhere, as long as it is a vertical line. This can be a short line or a long line, it doesn't matter, as long as it is vertical. So just click on shift, and then again you can see if we go into the perspective view. So I'm going to move on to the layer 2 because I want the bezel to be with a different color. And so the start angle is 0, and then we're going to create full circle. Okay, so let me actually just put these on ghosted, which is easier to see. So can you see here? So the cabochon is going to sit on this bezel, so it's a little bit inside of the cabochon, but there is a hole in the middle because we don't need to have all that metal underneath. We're kind of trying to make it lighter, but also to save on the costs when we are producing it. So what I need to do now is actually mirror the shape. So I'm going to click on mirror and select objects to mirror is going to be that shape there. So the shape that we moved up here, and then press enter, and the start of mirror plane is going to be here on the 0. So again, always the midpoint of our ring. And then I'm holding shift, so bringing it to the other side. Now I need to bring my setting a little bit down. It's going to sit quite high. But first, I want to actually do the sweep to make the ring. So this time, we're actually not going to do a sweep that is going to go all the way around. The sweep is going to be in between this sweep shape, this one here at the bottom, and this other one. So I'm going to hide now the cabochon and the setting, and we're going to do just the sweep. So on the perspective view, I'm going to bring the sweep one. So select the rail, and then I'm going to select the shapes either clockwise or anti-clockwise as we've done before. So this one, that one, and that one. Press enter and make sure that you have mid object snap on. So I'm bringing them to the middle and pointing all to the same side, and press enter. Okay. So now I've created a ring that, just sits here inside of my setting, okay? Now, this sweep, because it's not all the way around, if I click on it, it says one open surface. So to close this surface, we're going to click on the command line and just type cap, and this closes the open surface very easily. Okay, can you see now is a closed surface, one closed poly surface. So I'm going to bring the cabochon and the stone, and I'm going to bring them down. So you could group them so they don't get out of place. So I want to finish the ring now, but the setting is sitting a little bit high. I've grouped the setting and the stone so I can move it around and, none of them gets out of place. So you can just move it by, just bringing it down like that. Or, you might want to, bring it down to a specific measurement. So if I measure, from the end of the stone here is 2.6. Depending on how high you want the stone, I could bring it down 1 millimeter and take a look. So to bring it down a millimeter, you would type -1. And let's see how it looks like on the, still sitting a little bit high. So let's measure again. So if I measure here, from the end of the stone to the ring size is still 1.6. Maybe I could just bring it down, 0.6 of a millimeter down, so the distance between the end of the stone and the ring size is just 1. Okay, so I could select the whole thing and then bring it down -0.6. And now if I measure, sorry, not here, measure the distance, I have about a millimeter. It looks nicer, I think, like that. It's not so high, the stone, but it's your design and your preference. And of course, this is all going to look a little bit lower because the stone is going to be set, and I'm leaving extra material here at the top so you can file the casting and set the stone, polish, and so on. I'm going to finish now the ring. So I had grouped the bezel and the stone, so I'm going to ungroup. I think I grouped it twice. So yeah, so now it's ungrouped. And I'm going to use the ring size to trim the bezels. So there is a function that I like a lot to use, which is the wire cut. Select the cutting curves is going to be the ring size. And then the objects to cut is the bezel. So I'm going to click on the bezel. And then there are different options here at the top: delete input, both sides. I'm going to do both sides because I want the cutter to go through, and keep it all yes, so keeping the ring size and the part that I'm going to cut. And then if I click here, you can see now that they are separated and I can delete this part. Finally, what I will do is to join the bezel to the ring. So I'm going to use the booleans, bring them here to the screen. So the solid tools, I'm going to use the boolean union. So I'm selecting the ring and the bezel and pressing enter. So if I hide the stone, the ring looks like this, and this ring is actually ready to print. Now, as I have done on the previous video of the D shape, you can feel at the edges of the band here just to make sure that it's a little bit smoother and more comfortable to wear.